There's a protocol to get somebody to confess to a crime. Socialize, minimize, rationalize, and project. And at the end of the day, this isn't your fault. You reacted in a way that a human reacts in a situation that you were in, and anybody would have done what you would have done. That interrogation formula to get someone to do something that's not in their best interest is what we're seeing on social media, exactly what you were talking about.
Do you think we're going to see an uptick in political violence?
There's a protocol to get somebody to confess to a crime, and it's a 4-step protocol. And when I teach interrogation, this is the way that we teach it. And it's also the way that you can get someone to do something that's not in their best interest. So I studied this for a long time. All the ways you can use hypnosis or conversations or movement or having authority. All these little things that we can do to make someone do something that's not in their best interest. So we train an intelligence officer. He's got to go talk somebody into turning over secrets or something where he could face the death penalty or he could face jail time for doing what he's going to do. So the way that you get someone to confess to a crime, and I promise this is going to relate back to what you're talking about, is socialize, minimize, rationalize, and project. So those 4 things, if I socialize the issue first, so let me give you the crime example, and then I'll unpack it into social media. In a crime example, let's say I'm talking to you and you're charged with robbing a store. You took $1,000 from a 7-Eleven somewhere. So socializing would be, Shawn, I think once people understand who you are and what you're going through in your life, that what you did is going to make perfect sense to everybody, and people are going to understand. Minimize is next. And I'm a detective here, and I talk to people who take millions of dollars all the time. I talk to murderers and homicide victims. I talk to families of homicide victims. What we're talking about here isn't a big deal. What you did is not a big deal. You made a mistake. And I just don't want you to think it's a big deal. I talk to people who do this all the time, and they get over it, and it's something people get through very quickly. It's not a big deal. Rationalize is the next step. So we did socialize, minimize. Now we have rationalize. And the rationalize part, depending on what it is, I'll rationalize the crime. Sometimes you blame the victim, depending on what crime it is. But I know you were working at that 7-Eleven. I've looked at the pay. He's paying you guys jack shit. He's not taking care of you guys. And I know you have an aunt that is in the hospital and her chemotherapy bills are piling up. And I think that you did this for the right reason. And then project. And at the end of the day, this isn't your fault. You reacted in a way that a human reacts in a situation that you were in, and anybody would have done what you would have done. So that's how you get a confession. So that's the little process to get a confession there. And when we look at social media, am I seeing crime socialized and shared rampantly as if it's like good content? So I'm seeing a socialize. I'm seeing a minimize. It's not a big deal. I'm seeing a rationalize. I'm seeing a lot of rationalizing going on. So socialize, people are going to understand. Everybody gets it. Everybody agrees with you. Minimize, it's not a big deal. Rationalize, it makes total sense. And then project, it's not your fault. And that interrogation formula to get someone to do something that's not in their best interest is what we're seeing on social media, exactly what you were talking about.
Damn. And you think that social media it's a byproduct of the algorithm? You think mainstream media, this is all done, it is on purpose. It is by design.
I do, and it's so effective. And it's not just let me divide everybody. It's also, how do we sell these cowboy boots for this ad that's going to come up from this one company? It's also that. So I have to get you down this rabbit hole far enough that you're not going to click off But then I also have to isolate you away from things that are going to piss you off enough to where you're going to leave the app. And I have to kind of navigate that little road there. And I am a victim. The watch that I'm wearing right now is from an Instagram ad. So I'm not immune to any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you're seeing so much of that stuff. It's socialize, rationalize, minimize, and project. It's not your fault. And that is a recipe for something that's not in your best interest.
You know what everybody dreads? The inbox. I've gone through thousands and thousands of emails, and I hear you loud and clear. So we're making it official. The Vigilance Elite store is fully stocked. We're dropping new gear more often. Some limited edition, some permanent staples. We've got hats, tees, and even Vigilance Elite tumblers. And yes, before you ask, I'm still booze-free. It's been 3.5 years. Relax. It's just water. If you were one of those emails, consider this your green light. Head over to ShawnRyanShow.com and stock up. So do you think we're going to see an uptick in political violence? A lot of people think that was a turning point.
I do think that's going to happen because we're not seeing a lot of people coming toward the middle. Maybe there's something happening that I'm not seeing. I'm not on social media. I mean, I have social media accounts and stuff, but I'm not on there. It's not on my phone. It's not on my iPad. And I have to log into the website if I want to do it. But I'm definitely thinking that everything that we're seeing right now is made to set something up. And this did not look like an amateur. I will say that you're an operator. You've spent some time over there doing this stuff. It didn't look like an amateur did any of that stuff. So it looks like there's something's being set up. But if you go back on that formula, the way that an infomercial works is to socialize the product to you, to minimize the cost and to minimize how big of a deal it is to make the purchase, to rationalize how to make that purchase and say that it's only 3 easy payments of $19.99 or whatever it is, and then project. Like, most people don't own this, and the only reason they don't own it is because they didn't know about it before.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.